Hello and welcome to the show. We've got a nice show planned for you today. You know, the last show I painted on a carpenter's handsaw, and today I'm going to paint a circle saw. Now, some people say I like to paint, but I can't even draw a straight line. Well, I got the same trouble, but whatever I can see in my mind's eye, I can usually paint that. Now, about 16 years ago, I developed cataracts on both eyes, and I had to get operated on. And it takes about 2 weeks to recuperate. And during that time, I sit out in the porch and think, and sometimes I just sit. And one day, a friend of mine came over and see how I'm getting along, and he said, "Can you see that house across the street?" I said, "Why, sure I can see the house across the street." Well, look up on the roof and see if you can see that fly walking around up there. Well, I look up on the roof, but I said, "No, I can't see the fly walk around up there, but I can hear the shingles cracking every time he takes a step." Well, of course I lied, you know, but people come from all over. Oh, they come from 40 miles around to have me paint on these saws. And so a lady says to me, "Is that the only thing you ever paint on a saw?" I said, "No, I paint on all kinds of things. In fact, I got some things here that I can show you. For when I got, here's a little sled that I painted. You see that winter scene on there? Now, I got something else here I'm going to show you. Can you see that? That's a little ceramic thing that I painted on. And I've made arrangements to show you some of the other paintings that I did. And while you're looking at the pictures, I'll get ready to paint. we're back, and now we're going to do some real painting. I got to get a little green out here, and we'll mix a little black with it to darken it up a little bit. And I'm going to put some trees back in here. Now, I think right about up in here it'd look nice to have a few trees. They got to get a little bit of turpentine here. Now, we'll see what happens. So far, so good. Now, if I get a little brown, and I'll put a little white with that, I'm going to put some rocks in here. Maybe we'll start, maybe something like this here. I don't like that color though, so I'm going to change the brush. I got more than one brush going here, so I don't have to stop and wash brushes all the time. But we'll do something like this here. And then I'll put one over here, maybe a little place down here yet, something like that. Maybe we should put a little red and a little yellow or something to kind of make it look a little better. Something like that. Then we'll put one about over here like this. And then we'll come over here with some more rocks. And let's put a little yellow to make it look a little better. There. Now, I'm going to put rocks all along the bottom. Something like this. Then we got to get a little more paint here. And keep going all the way across. That's the way you do it, even if you can't paint any straight lines. Who cares? Well, that don't look too bad. I'm going to put a little color in there right up here. Something like that. I should put some rocks over here too, just to fill this up, because I'll put trees in there too yet. So something like that. How does that look? I gotta get a little turpentine on my brush and clean it up a little bit. Now we'll do like this. Now, I'm going to clean this brush up. I think what we'll do here, I'll get some more blue And we'll put a waterfall. I'll show you how easy it is to make a waterfall. The water splashing up there. A little more white here. And now I'll just go back and forth. It'll kind of work that in there a little bit. But I got to get some more white. And then we'll put a little blue or a little white in there, right in here, so where the mountains shine down in here. A little more white. Oh, that's pretty good. That's all right. But I want to put some more bushes or something around here. A little yellow and a little red. Now I think it'd be nice to have a little tree up on top there. Maybe see what we can do about it. Let's put one right here. And we gotta have one make it a little bigger. I think it'll look kind of nice if I put a little yellow on there, a little highlight. And maybe get a little more color into it. So far, so good. We got to put more trees over here on the other side. I'll get a different brush. Then I see this here looks pretty good. And I'm going to make them pretty dark to begin with. A little more black, get it a little darker so it shows up better. Now, what I'd like to do is put some dark color down here See what we can do here. Something like that, some little outcropping of and the same thing over here. A little too dark. Now I got to clean the brush a little bit. That's pretty good. Well, I got to do something else up here. I want to get this a little bit darker in here. And then we're going to put a white line back in there. I don't know how this, like a guy said, this works every time sometimes. Yeah, that's all right. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little cabin in here. You know, well, before I do that, I'll put some highlights on those trees back here and see what we can do. How about putting a little red in there? That kind of looked nice in here. No, some more yellow. So far, so good. Now, getting back to putting in this cabin, I get the brush cleaned up a little bit. And mix up a little paint here. Something like that, I guess. See what we can do here. Let's see, we have a cabin about something like that. Now, Okay, don't look like much yet, but we'll get it. Before I do anything else now, I'm going to put some lines in there. And see what we can make out of this thing. You see, this is how I draw straight lines without too much trouble. Not too bad. Do it like this. Okay. Coming along pretty good. I'll put this away. Now, maybe I can make it look something like logs if I just getting pretty shaky. I'm going to put a chimney up here someplace. And a door. And a window. And another window. Well, that's all right. Now, well, let's get another brush here. See what we can do. And you ever forget things? I can't barely remember anything anymore, but especially when people introduce me to somebody, I forget their names right away, and that's really embarrassing. I don't know, but then again, if somebody tells a funny story or something like that, I can remember that. And this cabin here, you know, reminds me of a story. I heard some guy tell it, and it's about a young couple living in the back country in Tennessee there, you know, in a cabin, and they didn't have any money, and the guy was looking for a job, and they heard that a local sheriff was going to hire a deputy. So he thought he would apply for the job. Of course, when he went down there, you know, and when he walked in, the old sheriff took one look at him. He knew right away he had a character on his hand there. So I said, well, I'll have to give you a test, he said, before I can hire you. So he says, what 2 days of the week begins with a T? Well, the guy says, today and tomorrow. Well, you did pretty good with that, but I still got to give you another test before I can hire you. And he said, who killed Abraham Lincoln? Well, I don't know. Well, that's all right, son, he said. You go home and you think about it for a while, and then you come back and we'll see what we can do. Well, of course, he went home, and his wife was all anxious for him to get the job, so she met him at the door and says, what'd they say, you're going to get the job? Well, I think so. He says, they already got me on a murder case. So I don't know whether they got the job or not. But anyway, I got to put in some more trees over here. Now, little black. Where would be a good place? Well, there's a good place for one right here. A nice big tree right here. And maybe one in there. And what's the matter with putting a little one right here? No. Let's get some paint here and put some highlight on these trees. Now, little yellow, dial this up a little bit, put some kind of weeds or something in here. I got to put a little something over here yet, along the bank here. Something like that. Well, we can go a little bit more here yet. Now, what I want to do is, well, I better put some white lines in there before I go any further to make it look like where the shore. What did I do with my brush? Here it is. Now, that always helps to set it off a little bit. And same thing over here. Okay, won't be long now. What we're going to do is put in some more rocks. Let's see, what should I do here? Why don't I just put some rocks in here like this, and maybe, you know what, I'm going to put in another little waterfalls here. And we'll put a little color to it to kind of pep it up a little bit. something like that. I'll leave that down. But I got it. Now, see what we can do here. Something like that. No, I didn't do that right. I gotta do this. Now, we'll put a little splashing up here. Something like that. Now we're going to put in some more trees here, because that's got to have trees there someplace. That shouldn't be too hard to do either. Put one right here. And I'll put one here. And a little one in there. Then we got to have one over here. And put the little one there. Well, that ain't too bad. Now let's get some a little more yellow. Coming pretty good. How about a little green in here someplace? No. You know, a lot of times when I'm at a show doing these paintings and people come up to my stand and they'll look at it, and you get different ideas. People have different ideas what they look, and some of them look right at it and they couldn't care less. They don't see nothing, it don't mean nothing to them. Then there's other people, again, they have face lights up, they really like everything they see. And then there's other people that'll come there and they'll study it out and they'll look at this and they'll look at that and make this kind of comment and that, and promulgating the esoteric coagitations, articulating the superficial sentimentality, the amicable, philosophical, psychological observation, one becomes aware of the predatorious ponderosities. Now, I might be wrong, but I know I'm not far from it. Think about that. Well, I think I'm going to call that painting finished. And now it's time to say goodbye, adios, auf Wiedersehen. Thanks for watching.